All right, what's up, people? It's the Minority Outdoorsman out here today. It is March 12th. All right, March 12th. I don't know the degrees, but if you want, I am in Fayetteville, North Carolina. All right, and that's where my bees are at. So the last video I did, right? Y'all saw how I configured the boxes with the sugar and everything, right? And in one of the boxes, I left space. I left 3 frames out. I don't know. I was being lazy, to be honest with you. But you're not supposed to do that. But because I know that my bees are still like coming out of winter, at the same time, they didn't go into winter strong. They were only a brood box size hive, right? I'm talking about my strong hive was probably supposed to be in a 6 frame at the most when it came and going to winter, like a 5 frame nook or a 6 frame. I don't even know if they make 6 frame, but that's what I'm looking at. It'd have been just the three frames in the middle would have held the cluster together, and the outside frames would have had the honey for them, and they would have made it through winter because we had a really mild winter. But they came out of there, and the box on the bottom. I'm gonna flip y'all around. The box on the bottom there. Let me see. That box there is the bigger of the box. It is a brood box, and that box is where the hive spends their life, right? Most of their life. But you can get your hive so large that you can move them in 2 brood boxes. Like they are expanded to both, right? But the problem you have with that is not the size a natural hive is supposed to be, in my opinion. Can they get that big? Yes. Hell, humans can get big as hell. But do we suppose to be that big? No, right? So my point is, I like to keep the hive into a 1 brood box, but I am going to do 2 brood boxes. But the reason I need them to expand to 2 brood boxes, and I'm gonna flip y'all back around so you can see exactly what I'm talking about, is because if you can get your hive to expand into 2 brood boxes, then you can in effect split your hive because it's 2 houses. You know what I'm saying? So I will be able to take that blue box out. If they expand the bottom hive, it gets so large that they have to move into that box, then I could actually take that blue box off, put it to the side, and make another hive, right? So that's how you expand. But look at this now. I am moving into year 3, and I still haven't got the 2nd brood box started yet. And if you're watching this video, you probably don't know more about bees than I do. So everyone you hear from me is like the truth, right? So I'm telling you, I know a little bit, but here it is year 3, and I'm still trying to get them strong enough in order to harvest honey. So that's why beekeeping is a very expensive hobby. I wouldn't advise you to go out here and get like 6 hives off the rip. Like, oh, I'm gonna be a beekeeper. Nah. Get you 2 and work with them. Get them to be able to expand, then get the fruits of your labor. You feel me? All right, so what I did was this. So I went into both hives. Remember, this hive was so weak and so small, this swarm. Now, remember, I told you, that should have been a 6 frame nook. That's a 10 frame box. So take up to that black part right there. So from that side to that black part right there, that's the most room they should have had. But they had all that room, because now they got too much space that they got to defend and keep warm. You feel me? But they made it. Them some bad jackals. All right, so check me out. So this one was smaller than this one, but they made it too. I had came over here the other day, and I moved this the food right on. I was gonna move it up top, but I just changed my mind and kept it right on top of them, because that swarm was so small. You wanted the food as close to them as possible, right? But on this one, I had the sugar up top, right? So I came out here today, and what I did was I went ahead and put those last 3 frames that were missing out of there, and now I've checked the food. They still got some food, but they're still eating the food, which lets me know they're not able to sustain themselves yet on the environment. So I left the food up there for them, but the sugar, they sucked all the juice out. Remember, I poured all that juice in there when you watched the other videos, right? So they sucked all the juice out, and all that's left is dry sugar, and they're up there eating on that. But in order for them to eat the dry sugar, they got to have access to water. So if you look in my yard, My bees are thirsty, so I gotta put some water in here. Hold up, guys. All right. After this video, I'm gonna put some food in there. I mean, some water for them guys. All right, so they don't have to go so far. So that's one thing you gotta also remember. If you're gonna give, just imagine you eating sugar all day. Your mouth could be sticky. You're gonna want some water. But when you ain't got no water close to the hive, it makes it harder for them. See, right now I'm trying to pull them out of winter, man. Everything is trying to, right? Everything's doing that right now. So imagine you trying to, and the food is close to you. You be like, hell yeah, I'm right? So that's what they're doing, right? Queen is just laying eggs. Now remember, when I first started this year with y'all on this video series, I fed them early. Remember? Like in February, right? I can't remember. But it was quite a while ago. Y'all remember? All right, bet. When I did that, they were bringing pollen in. So now, what did I do when I did that? They were bringing in the protein for the babies, because the babies are who eat protein. The adults, I don't know yet. I think they eat a lot of sugar with some protein. And to a bee, protein is pollen, right? But the babies need that to develop, to transform, right? So, but how did the adults do that? They ain't nothing but flying buckets. You feed them sugar, carbohydrates, That's Pepsis and Coca-Colas and Mountain Dews and caffeine. That's that stuff that we do. So that's carbohydrates to them. And so the adults are getting it in. Boom. So they were able to start bringing in. More people were able to work at full efficiency to obtain the pollen needed to bring up the next generation, because I fed them. And I made it like two types of food. I made it liquid and I made it in a powder, allowing them to immediate access and then sustain access. So it's like if you were going to, it's coming into spring and everybody wants to fertilize their lawns, right? Okay. What you do, you put a fast fertilizer on top, something they can get right then. Bow, shot of adrenaline. But then you put a slow, sustained release fertilizer also right on with it, right behind it. That slow release is gonna last 2-3 months. That fast one, it gives them everything they need for about first 2-3 weeks. Just getting it in. You feel me? That's what that do. So that's what I did. So the workers was able to them flying buckets. See, God in his creation needed a flying bucket, and the bee is the best item. So it's a flying bucket. It's zoom, 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 and all it's doing is bringing back pollen. Once the queen sees that a lot of pollen is coming in and we're not under stress, she increases her laying productivity. So coming out of winter, she might have been only laying 200 to 250 eggs a day. But when she saw that pollen coming in and them warm days and everybody singing and happy, she went in overdrive. She probably dropping 750 eggs every day. Bah, bah, bah. But how many days does it take? All right, so now, given all that information, how many bees are being born every day? 750. How long from the day she lay until the day they're ready to work, like go out here and get the groceries? It's 45 days. So think about that. She's dropping 750 eggs a day 30 days ago. That's about to start going to work in 15 days. You people with a lot of kids, y'all should take advice from this bee and put your kids to work. But that's what's about to pop off. So now, what did I do? After I know I got them right, I just said, okay, fine. I went ahead and put a super on top of this one, because this hive was so small, everything they bring in this year is just going to fill this part up. This part ain't even ready yet. This part is going to be overflow. I'm going to take some overflow from them probably in July. These guys, I'm going to let him go ahead. I'm going to let this one go ahead and fill this one out, and then I'm going to split this one, because I'm giving this one to my friend, the one on top. Y'all will find out later, but my friend is getting a split off of this stronger hive. So this year, up until July, I'm going to let them do everything they can do to fill this in and fill this in, and then I'm going to take away accordingly in order to get my friend started, all right? Anyway, so that's the update. I would have showed y'all, but I think it's going to rain, and they're a little grumpy today because they're not flying. More bees are in the house chilling, but they're up there getting that sugar, so I know there's not enough food out there yet for them, but we're coming in to the time for these girls to jump on these red maples and sumacs and catawba trees and all that stuff. So keep up with the series, guys. Hope you learned something. Minority Outdoorsman out. Cleve Boogie in the house.